Hello, good morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. It is Wednesday, November 27th, and it's the final day here of the week, pretty much the final trading day of the week because it is Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving on Thursday, markets are going to be closed. It's going to be a half day on Friday, meaning like still untradeable stuff. And interestingly enough, right, markets haven't really moved too much on the upswing. We've had like very slow, lethargic movement that's been going on, and just like nothing really getting created, and like seeing a lot of movement to the upside as I had originally thought in terms of like a slow grind higher. It didn't seem like this buy side is that strong and wants to like continue and sustain some of this balance to the upside. It's just it's there's weakness on the buy, right? There's weakness on the buy in this shorter week, and it doesn't seem like they want to necessarily continue that upside trajectory that much, right? We could have a shorter week that doesn't really do much. We could have a shorter week that is more range bound, is just like slightly even to the downside, right? So if I'm looking at things from a larger perspective here, it doesn't seem like the upside is that strong right now, especially in big tech, right? Big tech is just holding out, it's struggling, and there's not really too much to say about, okay, let's just like explode higher, let's see this like massive rally and continuation to the upside swing. So I'm going very cautious realistically into the end of the week. We don't really have too much expectations for the upside. There is some sell pressure on the overnight, right? Both these equities are kind of pulling back. Nasdaq a lot weaker in comparison to the S&P 500. Unfortunately, right? S&P is trying to hold out, but the weakness in tech is still dragging things along. So let's take a look at that, right? There's potentially new trade wars amidst, and again, remember, a reminder, going into the end of this week, towards the end of the week, we still have our 60% off for Black Friday. We're starting our mentorship in December. We've done already 2 seminars for A-plus trades and my highest probability setups at TRADEPRO Academy. So even more is coming along with this Black Friday deal. So we'll see you guys in there. Let's take a look at some of this news. So the U.S., right, has been losing multiple billions of dollars on trade with virtually every country it does business with. Trade wars are necessarily quote-unquote good and easy to win, which reads from a tweet from President Trump in March 2018. The philosophy is still in place, but tariff threats seem to be expanding in areas like border security and policy, and on top of the focus surrounding deficits and unfair trade practices during his first term in office. So plans for day one. As of my many first executive orders, I will sign all necessary documents to charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States unless the nations stop this invasion of our country with drugs, in particular fentanyl and illegal aliens. This is what Trump said on Truth Social. An additional 10% tariff will be applied to all Chinese imports unless the country resolves the massive amounts of drugs, in particular fentanyl. And Trump also detailed that representatives of China told me that they would institute their maximum penalty, that of death, for any drug dealers caught doing this. But unfortunately, they never followed through. While both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem. So the plans follow the appointment of Jameson Greer as the U.S. trade representative, who will be tasked with implementing Trump's economic agenda and conducting negotiations. Complicating the matter is that many of these challenges deal with security as much as they do with trade, which is a sensitive topic for nations like Mexico, which hasn't yet been able to confront the powerful cartels that control a sizable part of the country and shadow economy. And it also called into question the USMCA trade deal brokered under Trump, which has been reopened for review starting 2026. One tariff will be followed by another in response, so on until we put common companies at risk. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responded as investors sent down shares of major exporters from Mexico to the U.S. like Ford, General Motors, Stellantis. Excuse me. So no one will win a trade war on or a tariff war, Chinese embassy spokesperson Liu Pengyu added in a statement. And in contrast, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau struck a more conciliatory tone, saying that this relationship that we know takes certain amounts of working on, and that's what we'll do. Classic Trudeau. So it seems like the U.S. is just going after, right, a lot of aspects to reduce their massive deficit that they got going on right now. And it seems like firing at all cylinders. So this is starting even before President-elect Trump takes office. So all action, right, not really waiting for too much, but a lot of these things are going to be put into place when he actually enters office, which is going to be, right, in the new year. Now, in terms of other news, yesterday we had some FOMC meeting minutes. It didn't really do much in this market. Right now, this market is pulling off of these highs. I'm very cautious on the upside, especially with big tech. It doesn't look like there's too much buying that's trying to sustain this. We failed multiple times to exit auctions to the top side. Today, pre-market, we had the PCE data, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see what that PCE data looked like. Pretty much flat, right? The core PCE, 2.1 versus 2.2 expected. This was the prelim. So yeah, it's a prelim. They kind of came in line with expectations. Oh, interesting. So that's the prelim. The PCE, the actual PCE comes out at 10 a.m. today, which this is the first time I see it coming out after the open. So there's going to be some movement from 10 a.m. Keep that in mind. This is going to be the first time I've seen at least inflation data come out after the opening print. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But all in all, what I'm trying to say here is this is going to be the last full trading day of the week. Friday is going to be a half day. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I feel like even today, volume is probably going to be a little more muted. There's not going to be that much movement that's going on right now. 150,000 contracts, not even, have been traded on the S&P 500. And that's very weak going into the pre-market. Honestly, today's shaping up. I can't feel but a little more bearish, especially on the S&P. If we start losing this 60-30 area, the mid-30, you start opening up some kind of downside back into the auctions to the downside. It's a lot, like it is stronger than the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is a lot weaker right now currently. And NASDAQ with big tech is just struggling very hard. I don't think that this thing holds out. We failed 21.010 on the overnight session, and now we're still trying to fight into this like 910 area. But honestly, I think if we offer that 910, especially under that like 870, like it's going to be a clear push to the downside press where like this buy side is getting overdone. And I am honestly starting the session and today's outlook a little more bearish. I can be proven wrong very easily, but we got to start making new highs and holding higher lows in both these markets, which I just don't think it looks like the case right now. So we'll leave off with that. Everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving and the long weekend, and we'll see everyone on Monday. Remember, our Black Friday deal runs until Sunday, so after Monday we're back to regular trading, regular movement, and I'm going to be back in Europe